All right, Jon Gruden says he's into nightmares and he may just give the NFL one.
I'm into nightmares.
What are we talking about? Big ruling at the Nevada Supreme Court, which is basically their appellate court, says Jon Gruden can move forward and sue the NFL, and specifically Roger Goodell. This is a case that comes out of an employment law situation where Jon Gruden accused the NFL of intentionally leaking emails and other documents that cost him his job. What does arbitration have to do with that? Well, in the NFL and the bylaws, there's an arbitration clause, and they invoked it and they said, hey, Jon Gruden, Coach Gruden, you cannot go to a jury trial. We're not subjected to this discovery. Supreme Court of Nevada, the appellate court, said no. Why is it unconscionable? Because what Roger Goodell was trying to suggest is that although he is the defendant, he also gets to be the arbitrator of the case. Think of it this way. You're the criminal defendant, but you're also the judge in the case. Everybody knows how that's going to work out. So the Supreme Court, the appellate court said, no, this case gets to go forward. And if they can prove that the NFL intentionally leaked these documents, they believe that a jury could find specific intent. That's the big word here. If the NFL is found, or Roger Goodell is found to be complicit in intentionally leaking these documents, these emails that cost Jon Gruden his job, they'd be facing millions upon millions in damages. So big case out of Nevada. The question is, what does everybody do now? Well, right now we know that Jon Gruden has had an unbelievable rebrand in terms of his social media, working with Barstool Sports. He's everywhere. He's coming out with great emotion like he does here in Tampa Bay. He was a big-time coach. He's in our Hall of Fame, just got inducted again last year to the Ray J Hall of Fame. But his rebrand, and especially in front of a jury, looks incredible. Everybody knows he wants back into the league, the NFL. They're making billions of dollars a year. This is a huge black eye if Jon Gruden can prove that they were part of a scheme to get him fired. Now, how do you do that? Well, Jon Gruden's got to go on the attack with his lawyers. Discovery, depositions, requests for production. How did these records? There can only be a handful of people who would have had access to these records and that would have had the ability to leak them to the news outlets for them to get published. If Gruden can connect the dots that the NFL was behind this, serious trouble for the NFL. So what is the NFL going to do? They're going to look for a rehearing. I don't think that's going anywhere. It was a 5-2 on a 7-panel judge appellate ruling. They can look to perhaps take it up to the U.S. appellate courts, i.e. push it into federal court, maybe look to the Supreme Court. Don't think they're going to get a lot of help there. So if you're the NFL, what do? Well, start controlling the damage. Get out in front of this thing. And what do I mean by that? They've got billions and billions of dollars. Settle with this guy. This isn't the hill that you want to die on. Settle with Gruden. Does it provide him a path to back into coaching? I don't know. But what it does is it keeps Roger Goodell off the stand. It keeps him out of a deposition. It keeps him out of the records that they're going to go after. Ultimately, when you look at the discovery process, reminds me of A Few Good Men. I want the truth. There can only be a handful of people that would have had access to these records.
Did you order the code red?
The lawyers are going to put it together. They're going to go get those emails. They're going to go get those witnesses. And ultimately, they're going to find out who leaked these emails and, more importantly, who told them.
Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!
To leak these emails. They can connect this to the NFL or Roger Goodell himself. They've got a monster problem on their hand. Not only damages, but a reputation and getting back to that intent, specific intent that judge was referring to. Ultimately, Jon Gruden could be a nightmare for the NFL.
I'm into nightmares.